People were saying, oh, you're doing this, you're destroying the party, you're too young, you're not ready, you're naive, you're uneducated, blah, 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 blah. That is what I've been told, and that's what women have been told their whole lives whenever they want to do anything ambitious. So you know what? Screw it. They're going to say it, cause some trouble, get that 50%, get that parity, get that gender expanding representation in Congress, because you got to claim it. You got to take it. If we're going to wait for the 80% of dudes in Congress to give me permission, I'm going to be 80 by the time I get in there.
This is not what the future of the Democratic Party should look like.
Yeah.
Why is he wrong?
Because I got elected.
What about a maximum wage for CEOs to bring about parity in the workplace?
It's a really interesting discussion that's happening. I feel like it's a very nascent conversation, and what I always do is that I just keep an ear on the ground.
And there are some companies that have done this proactively themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, Ben & Jerry's, as you allude to, Ben & Jerry's has baked into their kind of company charter in a way that the CEO is not to make more than X amount or X times the lowest paid worker. And those companies tend to just operate in very just ways, and they're very interestingly formed, and they're formed around principles of justice.
I have yet to really hear a clear articulation of what comes after ICE. So I wanted to put that to both of you. What comes after ICE if we abolish it?
So ICE is the second largest criminal enforcement agency in America. And it is not accountable to the US Department of Justice. So we have a rogue agency with a massive budget that does not have the accountability of our traditional due process systems.
It used to be pre-9/11 that this all lived under INS, which is, as you said, the Department of Justice. I mean, surely Jeff Sessions, who currently runs the Department of Justice, is that what you're looking for?
I do think that it needs to go through due process, because I think
Meaning
that if
the Department of Justice.
Yeah, I do think it needs to go through the Department of Justice, and that it needs to go through judicial approval, because when it doesn't have it, this is what happens.
You had, it seemed, a bit of a stumble earlier this week when you were asked about Israel and foreign policy.
You used the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like...
What are the tenets of your foreign policy?
So I think a lot of what we're dealing with right now has to do with the fact, in my opinion, that we have not centered humanitarian approaches to foreign policy. I don't know how much we have prioritized, perhaps as much as we should, crises of human rights. And not only human rights, but also how we approach things like famine, how we approach things like extreme poverty, which, as we see, extreme poverty is a form of, to me, extreme poverty is in a way a form of violence. I think women candidates kind of campaign a little differently.
How so?